question today is, can you sound like yourself using someone else's signature gear? That is a very interesting topic, to me at least, because I've seen people in forums and in Facebook groups say you shouldn't buy signature gear because you're not going to be able to sound like yourself, which I find to be a very interesting statement. And I figure if people say that, there might be some truth to it, but I have my own doubts. So I'm really trying to approach this in a just free for all. Let's just go into it, give it a shot, and see if I can sound like myself. So the piece of gear that I'm using today is the JHS Angry Charlie. I'm not going to be putting the focus so much on the controls and what the pedal does, because this pedal has been out for a while and I think that people know exactly what this pedal is. I don't know very much about it, so I'm starting from the point that I know it's more of a distortion type pedal. I don't know what it's based on, and that is on purpose, because usually I get something and I go in the rabbit hole, I try to find everything about it. But this time I didn't want to let that influence my perspective. So all I know is that it's a distortion. I'm hearing something that sounds like a hot rodded, like JCM 800 type of sound, but I have no clue what it is. I'm gonna try and find out after the video, but right now I'm doing let's say I was influenced to purchase this pedal from a demo that I saw. I don't know what it is, but I love Andy Timmons' tone, but I just kind of want to get a similar tone but do my own thing. So how am I going to approach this? I have, to begin with, a Gretsch, which sounds nothing like Andy Timmons' Ibanez guitar, and I'm going through a Vox AC15 through the normal channel, which sounds nothing like his Mesa Boogie Lone Star. So I know what gear he uses, and I'm doing it on purpose to use something very different. Now, with the idea that using this piece of gear, I should sound like him no matter what I do, we'll see if that's true. So I'm gonna go with light gain, medium gain, I'm gonna crank it, I'm gonna use the boost that's built into the pedal. And as I said, the focus isn't so much on the controls, but rather if I can still get something that I like that sounds nothing like Andy Timmons, even though I absolutely love his guitar tone. But I want to see, can I use a signature piece of gear and still sound like boring old me? I think that I will, and I don't think anyone's going to go, wow, man, no matter what you played, you sound like Andy Timmons. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. And when we're at the end of the video, I'm going to give you my thoughts on what I thought about this experiment. And because I can't just do one and call it a day, I'm going to do the same thing in the next video, where I'm going to be doing essentially the same format, but with the Paul Gilbert signature pedal. And I might include others, because this might not be like the end-all be-all videos that are going to answer this for me. I know it seems a bit silly, but man, I really want to know the answer. If people are saying that, there must be some truth, and if there's no truth to it, then we need to address this in topics and say, look, signature gear doesn't make you sound like Eddie Van Halen or Paul Gilbert or insert name of popular artist here. Starting out with a Gretsch, going into a clean AC15. I have the master volume at around noon. Actually, I have it at noon, and I'm going through the normal channel with the normal channel at 9. No reverb, no post-processing on my part. The only thing I'm doing is putting a limiter on the overall thing, so it's about the same loudness with each video that you watch on this channel. And that is it. I'm going to give you my opinion at the end and use a chapter so you can hop around and check out all the different tests I'm going to be doing. It's not super thorough, but you're going to get a sense with the different guitars and the same amp, same setting, what this pedal is going to do. Am I going to sound like Andy Timmons? Probably not. But let's give it a shot. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps me when I go in the analytics to figure out which videos people enjoy more than others. And also, if you're really into the nerdy guitar stuff, also consider subscribing. It really helps the channel when you do that. Now, so far, here is my conclusion. There's no way in hell I can sound like the artist associated with the pedal because of a multitude of factors. I'm just going to enumerate a few of them, and you can, maybe chime in with other things that you could think of. So the first thing is obviously the player. And the player doesn't just have the hands thing contributing to the tone. A player also has a preference for certain EQ settings. So might be that, there's a certain EQ curve that we always go for whenever we dial in the amplifier. How we dial in the amplifier to, react to different pedals is also important. There's the pickups in the guitar. I'm sure there's like other components about the guitar we could talk about, but let's just stick to like that aspect of it. There's how he's going to hit the guitar. There's how the amplifiers are set, the speakers that are in there, the microphone choice, post EQ, post compression, all this processing stuff. All of it is going to create that recipe to sound like a certain musician. So I think that for someone to say, if you buy this particular pedal, there's no way in hell you can sound like yourself, you're just going to sound like someone else. So far, with just this video, I think doesn't add up. I understand the ideology behind making that kind of statement, but something that comes back to mind is the 1980s Rockman gear that Tom Scholz from the band Boston was producing. They were made to sound like Boston, but there's still some people out there who manage to sound like themselves. Famously, the guys from Def Leppard used the X100 on Hysteria. I would have had no idea they were using that piece of gear unless someone told me. If I'm not mistaken, I think also Judas Priest used it in the studio. There's like a bunch of people who used it. And when you know that's what they used, you can kind of fool yourself into saying, oh yeah, I can hear it. But if no one had told you, you probably wouldn't know that's what they were using. And that gear was made to give the Boston guitar tone, and they still managed to sound like themselves. So right now, my conclusion is that the Angry Charlie, the Andy Timmons version, is absolutely fantastic, and I can still find my own musical identity with it because it's not Andy Timmons distilled into a small box. It's a really cool distortion pedal that works well with a Vox, works well with just about any guitar I throw at it. I don't want to say that I've concluded in one video my opinion on this, but right now my leaning is towards there's a bit of BS behind, oh, that gear will give you that sound automatically. I think all the variables on how you dial in an amp, the amp choice, the tubes that are in there, the speaker you have, the room you're in, I mean, there's so many variables that land you into that very specific guitar tone. So I'm going to go try this pedal right here, which is the Paul Gilbert signature pedal. I don't know what this one is based on either. I did it on purpose not to know. I'm going to be trying the same type of guitars with the same amp, same settings, same everything. And I'm going to see if I can sound like myself. And there's a really cool thing that this pedal does where you can get into fuzz territory. I'll show you that as well. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, click over here. I'm going to have more videos just like it. So just click on one of those videos and I'm going to see you in the next one. Cheers.